Hey there, it's Mrs. C here with Math Defined, and today we're tackling a really important skill, converting between fractions and decimals. Our first example is negative 2 1/4. We want to convert this mixed number to a decimal. To do that, we'll first turn it into an improper fraction by multiplying the denominator to the whole number and then adding the numerator while keeping the denominator and the sign the same. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 plus 1 is 9, so negative 9 is the numerator, and the denominator 4 stays the same. Now that we have negative 9/4, we'll use long division to convert this fraction into a decimal. We'll divide 9 by 4. We'll start by dividing 4 into 9. 4 goes into 9 twice, and 2 times 4 is 8. Subtracting gives us a remainder of 1. The remainder means that we need to add a decimal point along with a 0 and then bring it down. 4 goes into 10 2 times, and this division process continues with adding another 0 until we have a 0 remainder and reach 2.25. So negative 2 1/4 as a decimal is negative 2.25. This decimal number is called a terminating decimal because we reached a remainder of 0 after dividing. Now let's look at 5/11. This is where things get interesting because it results in a repeating decimal. As we go through the division process, we will see a pattern develop where the decimal numbers repeat. We start by dividing 5 by 11. 11 divides into 5 0 times. So we'll need to add a decimal point along with a 0 in the dividend. Now 11 divides into 50 4 times. We multiply 4 by 11 to get 44. After subtracting, we have a remainder of 6. Then we add another 0 and bring it down. Next, 11 divides into 60 5 times. We subtract 55 from 60, leaving us with a remainder of 5. We don't see the repeating pattern yet, so we need to continue with the division process. We'll add another 0 and bring it down. 11 divides into 50 4 times. And after subtracting, we get a remainder of 6. And now we can see the pattern. When we add another 0 and bring it down, we have 60 again, just like we did up here. We already know that 11 divides into 60 5 times, and we can see our pattern. The 45s repeat. We show this repetition by placing a bar above the repeating decimals to show that this repeating pattern goes on forever. So the fraction 5/11, written as a decimal, is 0.45 repeating. Now let's switch gears and convert a decimal number back into a fraction. We'll use 0 and 408 thousandths for this example. To convert a decimal like this into a fraction, we need to look at the place value of the last digit. The 8 is in the thousands place, so 408 is the numerator and 1000 is the denominator. Now we simplify this fraction by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by a shared factor. I'm choosing to use the shared factor of 4. Dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 4 results in 102 over 250. However, I need to simplify again because I see that they both share another common factor of 2. Dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2 equals 51 over 125. So the decimal number 0 and 408 thousandths as a fraction is 51 over 125. Now let's look at how we handle a slightly more complex example that involves both a whole number and a decimal. We'll convert negative 12.48 into a mixed number. The key here is to separate the whole number from the decimal and work with each part individually. First, let's focus on the whole number, which is negative 12. That part stays the same when we convert this into a mixed number, so I'm just going to bring it down here and set it aside for now and just deal with the decimal part, 0.48. To convert 0.48 into a fraction, we'll look at the place value of the last digit just like we did in the previous example. This time the 8 is in the hundredths place. So 48 will be the numerator and 100 will be the denominator. Now let's simplify this fraction. The greatest common factor of 48 and 100 is 4. So we'll divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4. That gives us 12 over 25. And now we'll combine this with the whole number we set aside earlier, giving us negative 12 and 12/25. And that's how you convert negative 12.48 into a mixed number. The whole number stays the same, and the decimal part is converted into a fraction and simplified. Now, before we wrap up, I've got a bonus shortcut for you. When converting certain fractions to decimals, you can use equivalent fractions with denominators that are powers of 10. Let's apply this to our earlier example, negative 2 and 1/4, and see how it works. First, I'll just bring over this integer, negative 2. Now, let's break down the fraction part, 1/4. We know that the 4 in the denominator can be multiplied by 25 to become 100, which is a power of 10. Then, since we multiplied the denominator by 25, we need to do the same to the numerator, and we get an equivalent fraction of 25 over 100, which makes it easier to convert directly into a decimal. 25 over 100 is simply 0.25. Now we just add the decimal number to the integer, negative 2, and we get negative 2.25. This shortcut works really well with fractions like 1/4, 1/2, or 3/4, where you can easily multiply the denominator to get a power of 10, making the conversion to a decimal quick and easy. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like, give a super thanks, subscribe, leave a comment, share it, and hit that bell to stay updated with all things math. Until next time, keep math awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.